Hi viewers, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Joy Udo and I remain your greatest host for today's lecture. Today I'll be speaking on non-verbal communication, but before I proceed, I'd love you to click the subscribe button and turn on your notification for my next video. Now, before we move into the body of the topic non-verbal communication, we first have to define non-verbal communication. We would define nonverbal communication as the transmission of data, information, or messages through means other than the written or spoken words. In other words, we could say nonverbal communication is the transmission or dissemination of information without the presence of verbal cues or verbal communication. Next, we are going to be talking on the types of nonverbal communication. We have various types of nonverbal communication, but in this lecture, we are going to be speaking on 10 types of nonverbal communication. Number one, we have the facial expression. These include smiling, frowning, raising of the eyebrow. For example, we have two people in a conversation, the encoder and the decoder. And while the conversation is going on, the decoder gives this kind of look. This means that either the decoder is not interested in the conversation, or the information that is being transmitted to the decoder is an aggressive information, an offensive information that makes the decoder reject the information and gives that kind of expression. Now, that process where the decoder gives that expression is called nonverbal cues because there is no presence of verbal communication or spoken words during the process. And the second one, we have the body language. In a communication process where we have the encoder and the decoder gives this expression, crossing of arms and lost in thought. This shows that the decoder is not focusing on the conversation, or the decoder is not likely interested in the conversation. And the third one, we have eye contact. Eye contact is very crucial in a communication process. Take, for instance, two people are having a conversation, and the decoder tends to give an eye contact that shows that he or she is interested in the encoder's information. It gives the encoder some kind of balance, relaxation, and a go ahead to proceed on the communication or the conversation that he or she is transmitting to the decoder. And the fourth one, we have the proxemics. This is the use of space. Now, the distance between the encoder and the decoder in a conversation tends to define how close the encoder and the decoder is, or their relationship status between the encoder and the decoder. And the fifth is touch. Touch is one of the most crucial and important form of nonverbal cues. A perfect example of touch is in the first stage in the development of human communication, which is the pre-verbal stage. This is when a child is born. A child is not liable to speak. The only time you can have confidence that the child is living is when you see your doctors pinch a baby or touch the baby for the baby to reciprocate through crying. And the sixth one, we have appearance. Appearance involves the way you dress, the way you wear your makeup, the jewelry you put on, your nails, and how you look. Your looks conveys a message. Take, for instance, in a wedding setting where you have the bride, the groom, the asoebi. When you see the bride, you should be able to recognize that this is the bride. There should be a difference between the bride, the groom, the asoebi girls. A bride cannot dress like an asoebi girl and expect to be recognized or treated as the bride. And the seventh one, we have silence. Silence conveys a message. This takes us to the maxim, man cannot not communicate. This means that even in the absence of verbal communication, spoken words man is always communicating. Your silence conveys a message, whether you are interested in the conversation or not. Silence is a very important part of nonverbal communication. And the eighth one we have time. Time management is a very crucial form of nonverbal communication. Your punctuality to an event decodes whether or not that event is important to you, and punctuality conveys respect or disrespect. And the ninth one we have artifacts. Artifacts are objects or possessions individuals use to express themselves or communicate certain messages. Examples of these artifacts are drawings, accessories, and tattoos. And the tenth one we have kinesics. Kinesics involves gestures and postures. A posture a person keeps while a communication process is ongoing conveys a message. If you enjoyed this session with me, do well to click the subscribe button and turn on your notification for my next video. Thank you. Love you guys.